As Nigerians eagerly await the dividends of change promised by the President Buhari-led government at the outset of this administration, comments from the wife of the president, Aisha Buhari, raises fear amongst Nigerians on the possibility of the promise of change being jettisoned by some cabals in top government position. One of the figures and the corridors of power that wields enormous influence in this administration is the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Babachir Lawal. Getting on the close-up with him raises loads of questions, from finding out if truly there are cabals running the affairs of the nation against national interest. Who are the cabals? We also examine the fight against economic recession, insecurity, and the anti-corruption posture of this administration. Is this a true fight to bring the nation back on a salvation path or a poetic justice? It's question time. Welcome to the program. I'm Benga Ashiru. You may also send us your comments on our various social media platforms showing on your screen. Perhaps this chat with the SGF presents another moment to take a deep reflection and stock of how this administration has been fed for running the country for almost 2 years. Join us in this exclusive interview with the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Babachir Lawal.
Well, Benga, at the risk of being accused of giving pass mark for myself, in a government in which I'm a key player, I think I'll score our performance close to 98%, in the sense that we've done well given the condition of the country that we inherited. While we're campaigning 2014, 2015, we really didn't know the level of rot in the system. But thank God we've gone in, and as you say, we're close to 2 years now. We've known what is there, and we think that we have a handle on our problems and the resources that we need to bring us out of the quagmire we found ourselves in. The challenges were principally falling revenue occasioned by, the fall in fuel prices and the activities of the Niger Delta militants who were blowing up pipelines and export terminals. The government before us were very lucky. They were running the country at a time when oil prices were above the $100 per barrel benchmark. But be that as it may, the government took these challenges head on, and we believe with the policies we are putting in place, income diversification, in which we tend to produce all those agricultural products that we now import to consume, replace them with locally produce agricultural food products, or food products in general, and export the excess to generate more foreign exchange. We are working hard on the mining sector. Nigeria is a mining-rich country. Of course, the other insurgent areas like Boko Haram, which was consuming a lot of the government's resources to fight, it's also on the decline. In fact, almost now Boko Haram has been defeated. And that again will release additional resources that government can plow into productive ventures. So all in all, we are on good course.
What would you make of those that are saying that the cabinet is made up of old and recycled politicians?
As a secretary to the government, whose one of the responsibilities is the coordination of government activities, I've interacted with all 37 ministers. And the only thing I can say to you is that the president has made the right choice. The ministers are all competent professionals. A few politicians within, but even the politicians were professionals in their own right. I cannot see how anybody could have assembled a better cabinet than the president in his wisdom did in this case.
Would you still want to hold on to these comments, bearing in mind the comments of the wife of the president, alleging that those who did not take part of the campaign and who didn't even understand the manifestos of the party are the ones running the country now?
Well, Benga, there are 180 million Nigerians. I will not pretend to say that political parties have the best of these Nigerians to deliver the needs of Nigerians. I mean, the political parties have quite good people, but they are not necessarily the best. So I think the president was wise to reach out of the political system to look for experts and technocrats that understand what it is to run government and to deliver the dividends of democracy to Nigerians.
Now, on the issue of the presidency being hijacked, what do you make of comments coming from the leadership of the Senate? Remember during one of his trials, Senator Bukola Saraki said that it's obvious that the presidency is being hijacked by those who are not supposed to run the country.
Just like we would say of the Senate, whatever the word cabal means, in every organization, there are, I want to say, there are people that are more dominant in any group. If you know the theory of groups, some people are more dominant, some people are more pushy, some people are more soft, some people are, but in all and all, the president has a trait that everybody knows. He delegates. The president trusts all his principal officers, and he believes they will deliver on the mandate of their ministries or departments or agencies of government. And those accusing the government of being run by cabals are just sour grapes.
Now, just setting the record straight, who do you think these cabals could be? Because you have also been fingered as one of the cabals. Does these cabals really exist?
If they say a cabinet of 37 ministers constitute the cabal, it's okay, because these are the key members of the government. The president appointed them, and the ones that advise the president on the decisions that he needs to make. Of course, if I think that I'm honored to be a cabal in this presidency.
One of the allegations against your office as the SGF is that you've blocked some sensitive memos from some top public officers to the presidency that could have helped a lot in reforming this administration. Could you put things in the proper perspective?
I've not heard of that, but Benga, since you came to the office, you see that there's no file on my table. Since I became secretary to the government of Nigeria, as long as I'm in town, no file has spent a night on my table. No file at all. No file has come to my table, and I'm sitting there that has not left this office within 30 minutes.
Now, let's look at the office of the SGF, which plays a critical role in terms of appointing public office of holders. Your office has been accused of lopsidedness in terms of appointments. What do you make of this?
What we did is not lopsided. I'm sure when they talk lopsided, they are talking of probably in favor of the North. The politicians come here every day soliciting for support, soliciting for patronage for their states as we speak. So when the president came in, by luck for us in the Northeast, his first sets of appointments were from there. And these are just, they are visible appointments.
Okay, now let's shift politics away from governance now. Under the watch of this administration, this country has slipped into an unprecedented recession. What is responsible for this?
I don't know what you mean unprecedented. Well, but I can tell you categorically that experts, economists have confirmed repeatedly that we were in recession since 2014. gladly I can quote the former President Obasanjo, who also said just recently in the papers that anybody blaming this government of recession is not being fair, it's not being sincere. And I agree with that totally. Yes, we are in recession. We announced it because typical of our character, the character of this government, we tell Nigerians what the reality is.
Many are worried with the high rhetorics of blame agenda of this current administration because many people feel that they voted in the APC because they feel that they understood the problems and by now they should be coming up with solutions.
If you don't know where you're coming from, you will not know where you're going. You said, could we have known, for example, that somebody can walk into central bank, reverse his boot, and leave with $2.2 billion of raw cash? Could we have known that somebody sitting on government, the trust of the people, will sit down and embezzle 40 billion? Look at the type of money they are dispatching. So we keep quiet and let Nigerians say everything is okay, that there was no looting, that we are in the position we are because people that came before us preferred to carry our common patrimony and put it in their deposit accounts for their wives and children. What type of country are we if we decide to play the ostrich? Nigerians must be told what we inherited and what we are saying, and majority of Nigerians, I can assure you, are in favor of what the government is doing. Of course.
Now let's look at the anti-corruption posture of this current administration. It's been accused of being selective and mostly biased. Could you put things in a proper perspective?
Benga, why are you focusing on negative perceptions by people
We need to set the record
who are the perpetrators of the corruption?
You call for equity must come with clean.
Of course, yes, but we are not talking of equity. We are talking about chasing thieves. It has nothing to do with equity. We are chasing thieves. We are chasing people who took away government money, our money, who impoverished us, who put us in a condition in which now you are accusing the government of. If the previous governments have deployed the resources available to them at that time, in which they were exporting oil over and above our quota, and they were earning revenues in excessive revenue, and we didn't say anything for it, we should keep quiet? No, we will not.
Okay, let me take you to the forgery case that was withdrawn recently. Many people are still at loss on why the federal government backpedaled on this decision.
What I can tell you on issues concerning law and courts, Benga, is I can help you set up an appointment with the Minister of Justice. I mean, if you find it very difficult to do, he's the man in the best position to answer. Secretary to the government has nothing to do with courts.
Now, coming to the issue of the recent arrest of judges by the DSS, some of these judges arrested are crying of political witch hunt and intimidation. And the reason is that they've cited a bribery attempt by some top members of this current cabinet, and also the fact that they are sitting on some sensitive cases in which the federal government, the presidency, has a stake in.
Are the judges politicians? Why are we witch hunting them? Are they politicians? When a government official offers a judge or anybody else bribe, I would expect what that person will do is to immediately alert the police, alert the security agencies that somebody is here offering me a bribe, come and arrest him, especially a man in the position of a judge. If he chooses not to do so until due to other reasons he's brought to court and he decides to say that is the reason why he's in court, I think is begging the issue.
Isn't this a violation of the principle of separation of powers?
So, separation of powers to Benga means that the judiciary is free to be corrupt. The legislature is free to be corrupt. Don't forget that the Attorney General, the police, all the agencies of government with the direct mandate to enforce law and order are in the executive. So what are we going to do if we say because of separation of powers, judges are collecting bribes or other members of the arms of government are collecting bribes? We just keep quiet because we are violating. The Constitution didn't say that. Go and read the Constitution.
You may also join in this conversation by sending us your comments on our various social media platforms showing on your screen. Coming up on Question Time, setting the record straight on the return of 21 Chibok girls. Find out the Secretary to the Government of the Federation's perspective.